What is going on, guys? It is Wrestlelamia here, back with some more news. Join us now as Wrestlelamia looks at the wildest news stories and rumors you need to know, including Ronda Rousey is announced that she's pregnant, CM Punk says that WWE television is awful, Charlotte Flair being punished, Dudley Boyz no more, Roman Reigns under fire for a comment, and much more. Be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell for daily wrestling videos, and follow us on Facebook for exclusive lists. Now let's hit the intro and get straight into the first story. Now, our first story looks at the reason why Ronda Rousey hasn't returned. Well, I mentioned it in the title, she's pregnant. Well, big news for Ronda Rousey, as well as an explanation why Ronda was nowhere to be found at WrestleMania 37 and why she won't be back in the ring sometime. The baddest woman on the planet recently revealed on her YouTube channel that she's 4 months pregnant and that the baddest baby on the planet coming to you soon, September 22nd. Rousey's revelation explains why she dismissed WWE President Nick Khan's announcement that she would be back in the WWE at some point in the future. Damn, Nick Khan had us played, man. Anyway, congratulations to Rousey and her husband Travis Brown on this incredible news. Next up, CM Punk says WWE is awful right now. How does CM Punk feel about WWE's current television product? If you said awful, well, you're 100% correct. And during an interview with Sports Illustrated's Justin Barrasso, Punk speculated on a return to the squared circle. I don't need the money, and the way the wrestling business is now, it's wacky. You've got WWE who has multiple billion-dollar television deals, and the television's awful. I go back there, I'm just another guy. And it's not even that, I'd just be another guy that's doing not good television. I want to do stuff that's good. I want my name attached to quality projects where it's fun and it makes people laugh, smile, think, and people don't hate watching it. I want to do fun stuff. The multiple-time World Heavyweight and WWE Champion also suggested that a lack of quality human beings in the industry might have something to do with his reluctance to return. I don't know, I've said no before in interviews. I'm not fishing for a deal. I get offered to do a lot of stuff and I say no to 90% of it just because my thing is I need to work with quality human beings. It just seems like maybe in pro wrestling there is a lack of quality human beings. I don't know, I like doing fun quality projects. If there is a fun quality wrestling project that gets sent my way, I will listen to it. Punk's reported awful experiences with WWE prior to his exit likely has something to do with his comments on the lack of quality human beings. However, could Punk also be referring to someone in AEW? AEW reportedly made an offer to Punk, but Punk turned it down, claiming the promotion tweeted him an offer rather than approaching him in a more personal way. Rest assured, Punk's comments will raise some eyebrows in the grappling game. Next up, a backlash against Roman Reigns' comments. Roman Reigns is savage, something fans have seen in the ring but also on social media. The current Universal Champion recently roasted King Corbin on Twitter. The social media storm got started when Corbin addressed United States Champion Sheamus' open challenge by tweeting, "I'd fight you, but we'd also have to put a bottle of bourbon on it." Reigns responded, "Y'all sissies drink flavored vodka." Corbin wasn't about to let his question go unanswered, replying, "Ouch, maybe Uncle Rock, the real head of the table, will send us some tequila to toughen us up." The tribal chief didn't hold back, savagely saying, "If he's your uncle, then I must be your dad. Last interaction you get, use it wisely." A WWE TV may be awful, but its social media can be entertaining. However, like all comments on social media, you're going to inevitably offend someone, and now some members of the Twitterverse are calling out Reigns for using the word sissy. For example, one Twitter user wrote, "I don't believe that the top champion of a multimedia company should be using this type of language." Now, anyone who's familiar with social media knows the overly sensitive stand for many things. In fact, one tweet mentioned, "Let it sink in and marinate for a moment. This tweet bothered the fans/stands more than it bothered the wrestlers he was actually talking to." Did you find the comment offensive? Let us know in the comments down below. Next up, Charlotte unloads on WWE about a suspension. The WWE recently suspended Charlotte Flair for attacking a referee on Raw, and while the suspension is 100% storyline, the Queen is making the most of the situation, unloading on WWE via social media. Charlotte's digital diatribe follows. The whole thing sped past ridiculous, jumped over absurd and landed right on stupid. The two top wrestlers in WWE having a classic match on the flagship show, and for what? To be ruined by a petulant child with Road Warriors cosplay shoulder pads? Flair's blazing barb should be put into any promos once she returns to television, as they fit her character very well. Charlotte continued though, saying, "They found one other thing as well, audacity. The audacity to find me. The audacity to physically remove me from my ring and remove me from a building with my name on the marquee. The fine? The suspension? Adam Pearce, all the same, a joke. As we've seen, WWE superstars' social media exchanges are often more entertaining than the pathetic promos written for them on Raw and SmackDown. Perhaps the WWE writers need to emulate the superstars' social media. Next up, the real reason why Charlotte wasn't at WrestleMania? The former wrestler Hugo Savinovich served as a WWE announcer on its Spanish announce team from '94 to 2011, and since his release, he hasn't held back in criticizing the promotion, as seen by his recent comments concerning Charlotte and her absence from WrestleMania 37. There are different stories circulating about why the Queen didn't work at this year's showcase of the Immortals, with one of them being an incorrect pregnancy test. As we detailed, a doctor reportedly diagnosed Flair as pregnant, but the test result turned out to be a false positive. Savinovich discussed the situation during an appearance on Wrestling 8 Daily, saying, "Something that is a queen of wrestling and you don't have her on the card, yet you bring her in the next night at Raw? How the heck do you explain that creative process? She's good for Raw, but maybe we'll send a message that because you favor your Latino fiance, maybe it would send a message to the other people. Hey, anybody steps out of line, we don't care if you're the Queen Charlotte or you are Andrade or whatever. We're gonna take you out of the card." Savinovich seems convinced that Flair was punished for Andrade's post-release comments, including an interview where he criticized the company. Hugo added, "I think a woman that is a legend, that has a legendary name of Ric Flair and has become one of the best in the field, and she's taken out WrestleMania with a cheap excuse of being pregnant? She's not in WrestleMania, but the night after, she kicks everybody's ass and they let her do a mini CM Punk pipe bomb in the ring? Do you think that backstage politics played a role in the decision to pull Flair from Mania, or did they want to keep the focus on Rhea Ripley and Asuka? Let us know in the comments down below. Next up, Dudley's rest in peace? Are Devon Dudley and Bubba Ray Dudley done as a team? Well, that's what Devon Dudley is claiming. Devon appeared on the Jofo in the Ring podcast announcing, "The Dudleys are done. It's over. It was a good run, but I think we should move on and leave the Dudleys alone. Rest in peace, Dudley Boyz." Now, the Hall of Fame team may be finished in the ring, but both Bubba and Devon continue working in the industry, with Bubba Ray working on Busted Open Radio, while Devon is currently working in the WWE as a producer. The former Reverend Devon has discussed returning to the ring, but as you may recall, he suffered a stroke which could restrict him from being cleared for a WWE return. What do you think of Devon's announcement? Did you ever want to see the Dudley Boyz return for one last match? Let us know in the comments down below. And finally, a former WWE superstar retires. And last but not least, a former superstar has announced that he's retiring from the ring. Kenny Doan, aka former Spirit Squad member Kenny Dykstra, tweeted, "I've decided to retire from in-ring wrestling. When I started at 13, I thought I'd retire at 40, but smart investments over time have allowed me to be done now. I'm in my prime, and that will go towards my family and being a father. Thanks to the fans who stuck by me." And you may recall his run in the WWE from 05 to 09 and a more recent one in MLW. It's refreshing to see a wrestler who can retire on their own terms thanks to financial planning, as opposed to the sad slew of superstars who are forced to work on the indie circuits decades after their peak years. But there you have it, guys, the wildest wrestling news stories and rumors you need to know. Be sure to leave your comments down below, and I'll see you next time with some more wrestling content.